G'day, gorgeous. I so appreciate you tuning in to today on the podcast that empowers women for life. And if you're brand new to the podcast, then I want to extend a huge welcome and I thank you for joining me, and I've no doubt you'll get massive value. Today's topic, we're moving into part 3 around money, and today's question from our previous 2 podcasts, Tamara, today's final lesson is talking about how to ditch your negative vibes around money and feel good about making money, not evil. It's a hot topic and I'm looking forward to getting into it, because the G'day Gorgeous podcast is where you're going to get real and raw and relatable stories and answers and insights, ideas and real tools that are proven life success steps that can help you overcome your frustrations and go on to create a life that you truly love and deserve, no matter who you are or where you have been. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson. I am a best-selling author, an inspirational speaker, entrepreneur, and a world-leading wealth and lifestyle coach for women. So you found the right spot here. And to find out how I can help you gain the confidence and design and live the life that you want through my select mentoring and coaching, then pop over to gdaygorgeous.com or click the link in the notes below. Okay, let's dive deep into today's podcast, and be sure to have your journal and diary on hand, and of course a nice cuppa, because I am going to be sharing some very, very inspirational steps and practical ideas that you can put into practice today. Good morning, gorgeous butterflies. Look at these love hearts. Oh my God, I'm feeling loved and blessed, and it's coming right back at you, ladies. Thank you for joining me. Oh, what a bunch of love. I have missed you, ladies, this last week. As you know, I've been in Sydney doing my certified facilitator exams with Di Martini, and I passed with flying colours for the first time. I freaking failed everything at school, but this time pretty much 98%. I was determined to be one of the best at my craft, so that's why I've been absent. I'm back today, and I'm going to let you know, ladies, today I'm actually leaving. I'm going out boating in the morning. We are heading up towards the Great Keppel Islands, so you will be coming with me on video for the next couple of weeks, all the way up to the Great Keppels. Then we'll be home for a few days and going back up. So I'll be doing these live podcasts and these rampages from the ocean. Whale season, lots of dolphins, lots of whales giving birth, so hopefully you'll enjoy that experience with me, and hopefully you ladies are all in a good spot. Looking forward to today's podcast, which is the 3rd series in the how do I ditch my negative vibes around money and feel good about making money, not evil, based on feelings and emotions that have come from childhood, what you see, what you experience, and what you learn from your parents, your guardians, school teachers, your environment. And if you are new to this podcast and you're just joining in, again, be sure, girls, you're going to need your journal today, because I'm going to do some practical steps, some practical ideas that are freaking real, not just hearsay, not just made up, not just fantasy, of what it actually takes, and some ideas around things that you'll need to think about and process if you do want to feel good about making money and dump the old habits that clearly do not serve you. And set you free from the shackles in your mind. So welcome to all the newbies, and welcome to my ladies again. Good morning, Peaky. So I want to jump right into it, girls, because there's a lot to cover. Give me a thumbs up if you've got your pen poised and your journal ready, because again, today I'm going to be moving into practical questions and ideas that I want you to write down and really ponder on, because if you do want to change your stinking thinking around money and ditch the old thought patterns that are getting you nowhere, having you spin your wheels, then what I'm going to share with you today is part of the journey of change. Because where most people go wrong, they're always looking for a business idea, a new opportunity. So they'll go online or to seminar, and they're constantly buying and spending money on opportunities that they will never be successful in because they haven't got their mindset right. They haven't got their attitude right. They're holding on to the beliefs and the fears that will continue to show up in their life, giving them results, and they wonder what's wrong with them. And they're going nowhere. So the last 2 podcasts, we've covered underlying beliefs, and then a bunch of probing financial questions to determine exactly where you're at financially. Now, again, if you're watching this podcast for the first time, or any of you beautiful butterflies inside my community, if you haven't done last week's podcast, I suggest strongly that you go back over that podcast and answer the questions. Answer the questions around your money, your finances, your habits, how you feel about it. Answer the questions I gave you, because until they're answered, then perhaps today's podcast won't make much sense to you, nor will it really serve you to your highest interest. Because my role as a mentor is to help you feel good about money. And that's what today's podcast is. So in this one today, I'm going to go through the 3-step Live Now formula that helps you decipher where you're at with money and where you want to go, and to bridge that gap as quickly as we can. Please know that if you want to bridge the gap between where you are mentally and emotionally around money, it doesn't have to take years. You don't need therapy. You don't need fixing. You need ideas. You need soothing, and you need changing. You need new ideas that you must put into action. Just trying to think your way to success, think your way to a wealthy mindset is the first part, but it's actually not going to be the solution until you do the doing. You've got to feel it with your being. So let's talk about the 3 steps to wealth, health, and love. I always usually say wealth, health, and happiness, but you know what? I don't want to put the idea out there, and I'm going to say it really strongly. Life is not one side. There's not just happy without sad. There's not ups without downs. There's not good without what we perceive bad. There's no such thing as good and bad. There just is perception, right? However, for the people out there that are always chasing just one side of life, forever you will be setting yourself up for a mental nightmare, because life is not one-sided. But here's the thing. We have free will of our perceptions. What we can control is our perceptions. We can control our actions, and we can control the way we think through changing the old beliefs, through dumping them or deleting them, as I like to say, and making those changes through writing and through action steps. This is where most people go wrong. They want all the woo-woo stuff, the feel-good stuff, but they don't want to take the actions. I'm not talking about anyone inside here. I'm just talking about, not you, of course, out there, if this is your first podcast either, but other people. They don't want to do the actions. So step 1 is to choose and commit. Write that in your journals, girls. Choose and commit. Just go to a page that is probably, I would say, gems, new ideas, and new possibilities around money. Give me a signal, a thumbs up, or a love heart, or something, a message, a yes please, if you want more money in your life and more money at the end of the month than month at the end of the money. Are you in that basket? So if you are, choose to commit to changing your actions, your knowledge. Oh my God, so many love hearts. I'm with you, girls. You can always get more money, but no time. That's why we talk about action. But money is in my opinion and my experience, a good thing, and I'm going to share with you why. So what it is not only changing your habits and your beliefs, but changing your actions and your knowledge. Okay, so write that down in your journal. Actions and knowledge, you need to change the way you think. So you've got to learn different things. Step 2 in this 3-step process is we're going to go through the Live Now formula. I'm going to ask you questions, and I'm going to get you to write them in your journal. And again, this is your brief after the podcast finishes. So the first letter in the word live now is the letter L. It begins with love. Respect yourself enough to be able to attract the dollars. If you don't have the self-respect, Why would anybody else respect you enough to hand over their dollars to you in your business or whatever you're doing to attract money into your life? Even if you have a job, a career that you love and you've got no intention of starting a business, that's okay as well. However, if you don't have love and respect for yourself, you are going to have a ceiling on the amount of money that you will be able to attract into your life. Why? Because you're not looking for opportunity. You're not being that person that wants to add value to other people's lives, finding a way how you can become more knowledgeable and intelligent in your craft so that you can get that pay rise, so that you can get that next level of opportunity in your career, or take your business to a brand new height that attracts money. Write this down. I will be paid in exact proportion to the value that I bring to the marketplace. And that goes whether you've got a job, a career, or a business. It doesn't matter. You will be paid in exact proportion. So write down the amount of money that you bring into your life each and every week, or into the home, and ask yourself, wow, can I take that to a new level? What do I need to know? So it begins with love and respect. Love and respect yourself enough to say, wow, these old beliefs that I'm carrying around, this baggage around feeling evil for making money, and this goes back to Tamara's question, she feels evil about making money. How is it serving me? What are the benefits of me holding those beliefs? But more importantly, what are the drawbacks of me holding onto those beliefs? Please write that in your journal, ladies. And if you're watching this and you're a guy, write it down. What are the drawbacks and the benefits of you holding onto the old beliefs around the way you feel about making money, what it means to you, the purpose of money? It is super important to understand that. Then I want you to think about, what would you love to be, do, and have financially? Now, I want you to get clear on this. You need to balance the positives and the drawbacks equally, because remember, you don't want to get all manic or depressed, and be unbalanced about how you feel about money. But you need to think about what you want to become, who you want to become, do what's necessary to have the life by design that you want, the lifestyle, I should say. So what most people do is they want the money up front. They don't want to do anything to improve themselves, to have a new skill, to be the best at their craft. They don't want to put the time, energy, and effort in, but they want everything. They want to have the lifestyle. The opposite way to do it, the real way of the successful people, is that they become the successful person first, mentally and emotionally. Learning new ideas, learning new courses, investing into mentors that have a result and can help them achieve the success that they desire. And, here's what I would say to anyone who is sitting in front of me. It is your duty to become more wealthy in your life. Why? Because being poor financially, mentally, and emotionally is not a virtue. It is not helping anyone. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your children. It doesn't help your community. It helps no one. And so you've got to ask yourself, do I believe that it's virtuous being poor? And that might come from an old belief. Some people have that through a religious belief. And I'm not here to make anyone right or wrong. My role as a mentor is to make you think about your beliefs, your habits, your ideals, and ask yourself, does that actually make sense? Is that really true for me? Or am I carrying around other people's ideas around money, other people's beliefs, other people's ideals? And until you acknowledge your own thoughts and make the change, your financial situation will never change. And that's why I'm asking the hard questions. And so many mentors in my position do not ask the hard questions because I believe they're frightened of the retaliation. Well, I'm not. I am here, ladies and gents, if you're watching this on the outside, to set you free from the mental shackles that keep you broke, keep you poor. I want you to start imagining what your life would look like with more money coming in. And the bottom line is this: to make more money, It is about serving other people, helping others get what they want so that you get what you want, and making a difference in people's lives by utilizing your God-given gifts and talents. Now, some people come to me and they say, Amanda, I don't know my purpose. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. I can share with you right now, I know it as a fact. Your purpose in life, or your calling in life, is related to your highest value or your unique gift that you have. And then we just think about, well, how do I take my unique gift to the market? Now, you might want to take your unique gift or talent to the market, and your fair exchange or value might not necessarily be around money. It might be exchange of other goods and services. And so this is what I want you to think about. Some people go, I want to feel good about making money. Well, it might grow in time, but in the beginning, you might take your services to the market, and the fair exchange might be in another way, okay? And then over time, as you become, I guess, more knowledgeable and better at your craft, then the money can come from that. But of course, this goes back to marketing, which I'm going to be talking about in another podcast. The next thing I want to talk about with the letter L in the word live now is letting go. Write that in your journal. Letting go. The thing that I want to talk about today is, if you remember the last podcast, I would like you to review the last podcast and review your perceptions and your meaning around the word money. Take note of how you feel when I'm talking about money. Are you agreeing? Are you feeling squirmish? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Are you feeling excited? Are you feeling hot? How do you feel about money? That is your indicator of your belief system around money. For someone like myself, I can talk about money till the cows come home, because money doesn't control me. I've learnt to control it. There's two different things I'm talking about here when I talk about money. And most people that feel that money is evil, money's bad, rich people are bastards and rich people rip off the poor people, they are looking at it in a different way than I'm looking at it. And that doesn't serve anyone. Money can make a difference to you, your family, your community, your church, the world at large. And that's the way I think about it. So I want you to think about your perceptions and your meaning around money. And then what did you learn about yourself? And be honest, there's no judgment here. But for me, many years ago, I really had to think about how I was judging myself around money based on other people's perceptions around money. I grew up in a Catholic home. My dad's sister was a nun. I went to a Catholic school. I was taught by nuns. And so I had these old beliefs and ideals around life in general, but some of them were around money, and they weren't that healthy. We were taught that it was virtuous to be broke, give your money, be poor, sort of thing. That's what the perception I got as a child. Well, that wasn't working for me. And even as a young kid, when I wanted to do almost anything I could, any chore around the house or the neighborhood to make money, my idea and my perception was money was good because I could buy things that I wanted. Now, I was only a kid, but I learned very young that if I had money in my hand, I had the power. Those with the money have the power. Whether you like it or not, you believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's the truth. And so you've got to ask yourself, if you want empowerment in your life, you know what? You want to change your mindset around money. It takes money. And if you want a life of more freedom, more choice, better health, better relationships, feeling good about giving to your churches, your charities, and other people to make their life more comfortable, money is the exchange. And that's all it is. Money is energy, and it's just exchanging. That's all I see it as. It could be Brussels sprouts for all I care. It's just an exchange. And when you start to break it down to simplistic thoughts like that, you go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this value to the market, and you're going to pay me a bag of Brussels sprouts in return for the service that I bring you. People just have this funny thing about money. Back in the old days, it used to be cattle and grains and seeds and things like this, golden doubloons and all sorts of things that people would exchange. And it's just turned to paper and coins, and now it's just electronic. But if you think about it in your head, it's just a bag of Brussels sprouts or something like that. It can change your perception. So list in detail, ladies and guys, if you're watching this, your old perceptions, your old habits, your old traits, beliefs, actions and inactions that are not serving you. So those 7 things, write them in your journal with under your new ideas and golden gems there, new things that you want to change in your belief system. What were the old ones that are not serving you? And then I want you to write down from underneath that the old habits that are not serving you, and then what would it feel like, what would it be like if you were to bring in more money into your family environment each and every week through your business, through your job, through your career, through adding value to other people, adding value to, if you've got a boss, how can you become more knowledgeable, learn something new, increase your value to the business that you work in or the career that you have, so that you can grow mentally, emotionally, and financially. But write down, what money can bring for you. Choice, ease to the family. Or I'm not going to do the list for you. I want you ladies to write this down. If you're watching this podcast, write down what money can bring you into your life, and more importantly, how you will feel as a result of increasing your self-worth, which in turn can increase your net worth. Please write that down. My net worth will be in direct proportion to my self-worth. And that's why it goes back to love and respect yourself enough to keep growing mentally, emotionally, and financially to serve more people, to serve more community, to serve more within your family. Will your children get a better education? You can educate yourself even more. You can support charities, as I said, more holidays, less on the mortgage, all these different things. How will it affect your health? How will it affect your relationships? How will it affect your love life? Start to look at the different areas of your life and ask yourself, wow, if I actually educated myself differently, changed my beliefs, habits, and actions, what would it look like for me, and how would I feel about that? Now, I'm talking really fast on this podcast today. Give me a thumbs up, give me a symbol if this is helpful. You're writing it down and you're loving these new ideas, these questions, because they're making you think about how you can grow as a human being and be of more service to others, and in turn get handsomely rewarded. Handsomely or beautifully rewarded because you are worthy. The second letter in the word live now is I. Now this comes down to imagination. I want you to write this in your journal, girls. Your imagination is the closure between turning the impossible to possible. Your what and your why. What do you want? And why do you want it? Lots of love hearts coming in. Good. I want you to write fast as I'm talking here. I've got a lot to cover today, and I really want to give value, and I hope that you're feeling like I'm giving value. Now, the reason I talk about what and why is that it must come from a space of feeling committed about your life and the lifestyle by design that you want to create. Remember, this whole podcast is about empowering you, because otherwise it's going to come from a space of fantasy. You are going to set yourself up with a nightmare and a fantasy unless your what and your why is connected to you. What's important to you, not an outside influence, not society, not conformity, not religion, not your parents, not your friends, but you, intrinsically you. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there frozen and you won't do anything. Remember, if nothing happens, nothing happens. Nothing happens until a sale is made. It's a famous saying. So imagine what your new future of prosperity and abundance will look like for you. But imagine it in the now. What your life will be like when you have more exchange of value. You've elevated your self-worth through love and respect. You've elevated your knowledge, your language around money, your thoughts and your habits, and of course your actions. What will it be like for you? I want you to imagine what is actually possible and not think about what was, but think about it in the now and what it can be like in the future when you have this newfound information. You've studied different things, you're learning different things, you are allowing yourself to grow and expand in all ways. And then think about it, well, how am I going to get more money coming into my house, into my home, or into my bank account? Well, for you, is it going to go through business? What are your fair exchange? What are your gifts and talents? Is it through starting a business? Stocks and bonds. So some people want to be a trader. Is it through real estate investment, income through real estate? You've got to start thinking, well, how am I going to make more money? Am I going to become more valuable in my marketplace and, keep studying and learning like I have all week, continually studying and learning so that you can elevate your position out there and elevate your income as a result. You cannot expect just to go out there and get a pay rise, more money from a boss in your job or your career or even in your own business unless you are growing. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense in the marketplace. So you don't want to just go to somebody and say, oh, a year's gone past now. I've been here for 3 years. Can I have a pay rise? They'll probably go out the door that way, baby. You've got to, put your case forward and go, here's what I've studied. Here's what I've learned. Here's my new value to this company before you'd even want to go there. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense. But here's what I do want to say on that. Most people say, I want more money, but you are your best investment. The first thing that I would do, and this is how I live my life. I walk the talk. I'm not just speaking from stuff I've read. I invest the most amount of money that I can, that I've got, into myself. So when I get my money each week, I pay myself first because I have love and respect for myself. I pay all the bills and everything else second. Not second, actually, I'll take that back a step. Pay myself first, because when I pay myself first, a portion of that goes into my self-education fund. Write that in your journal, self-education fund. And then the second thing I do is all the bills and other people, the rates and the taxes and the phones and things like that. So always take care of the people first. That's myself, my family, my staff, the people that are involved in the commerce. And that is what the wealthy people do. That's what success is. Understanding money goes where money is most appreciated, most understood, and is organized. Write that down. Money has to be organized. If it's not organized, it will flow from your hands into the hands of another person who is organized around money. So we spoke about in the last podcast, making sure you have a forced savings plan. If you do not have some sort of a savings plan in place, the money is going to come in and it'll go out. And so this is why it is imperative to pay yourself first. I think Jim Rohn coined this. Formal education will make you an income. Self-education will make you a fortune, or can make you a fortune. And that is why it is critical to keep investing in self-education. So be super clear and detailed about what you want. And here's one of the most important things I'll say on this podcast today, my friends, is make sure you link money and the idea of making money through fair exchange of service to your top 3 values. Now, if you do not link it to your intrinsic values, not society's values, nobody else's values, but your internal values that are driven from internally, if you do not link money to your values, I can promise you'll probably never have any money, because most people want it, yet most people don't have it. It's not because people are, haven't got the brains for it or the intellect to make money. It's because it's not linked to their values, or it's not high on their values. And that's the difference between a fantasy and a nightmare to what's possibly real. And that's why I'm one of these mentors that, I want to be practical. This is not just about putting it out there and letting the universe take care of you. Yes, that is a component, but there's still a practical step behind that. It still takes thinking and planning and action steps. And again, I want you to write down the benefits of becoming more financially successful and ditching your negative vibes around money in the 7 areas. So what are the benefits of attracting more money, feeling good around money, having a different dialogue around money in your love, health, relationships, money itself, your vocation, which is your job, career or business, your personal growth, and happiness? They're the 7 areas of life. What are the benefits of having more money coming in, feeling great about making money because it's fair exchange in the 7 areas of life? Because what we're trying to do here is stack the benefits of you changing your beliefs, of you changing your habits, of you changing your actions so that they serve you in your values of what's important and meaningful for you. Okay, let's move back into, and you can refer back to last week's podcast on that because I did talk about habits and priorities. Refer back and see what you must focus on there. The 3rd letter in the word live is V. This is a very, very important component and why so many athletes are incredibly successful in life, and it's called visualize. Visualization is one of the most powerful components of turning thought into matter or thought into reality. And this whole podcast is about empowering you to live the lifestyle that you want, wealth and lifestyle training. That's what I do, coaching and mentoring. And so it's very, very important to visualize what your dream service to others will be. What is the thing that you love to do, that you are naturally talented at, and that you can realistically turn into a service to others and believe that it's possible? It's very important what I just said then. If you don't believe, you will not see the result, whereas most people need to see the result before they believe. So you need to visualize your dream service that you believe that is realistically something that you can turn into a fair exchange. And I would say something that you would really love to do for the rest of your life that would serve other people, so that it's not a fantasy. Because so many people talk about making money in business, and it truly is a fantasy because they're not interested in the business, which I call the vehicle. They're just stepping into the vehicle because they want the money, but they haven't become the right driver for the vehicle they're stepping into. I hope that you just got that. That's a very, very important distinction. Don't step into any vehicle. Step into the right vehicle that is right for you, that when you start the ignition up, you are going to feel comfortable like a Formula One racing car driver to drive that vehicle. I myself have made countless errors of judgment and perception in my past, and the only businesses that have turned into massive success in my perception are the ones that have followed my heart, my intrinsic gifts and my talents, and the things that I love to do most that I could do for the rest of my life serving people. Things like this podcast, things like mentoring, writing books, sharing education. That's important for me, but what's important for you? And it's very, very important that, remember, don't look on the outside, look on the inside. You already know what you are, what you are born to do if you really, really look hard. And I've been through this, so I know the journey. I'm not just talking from headspace. I am talking from actual being in the trenches and going through the heartache of jumping into the wrong vehicle, being the wrong driver. Instead of going, you know what, Amanda, stick to your strengths, stick to what you have been gifted naturally. So in your visualization, now you ladies in here have your digital vision board. You can use a scrapbook or stick one on the wall. Fill it up with words, images of people, experiences, places you want to go, places you want to visit, what type of income you want to make, what type of impact you want to have on the world and others as a result, what your rewards will be from giving the service, and who benefits and what are the benefits to you and others. Now, you can use words on your vision board, as I said. You can use images, all sorts of things, and look at it every day as if it's in the now, as if it's already happened. Because what happens is it changes your perception. It changes your belief system like it's happening now. And what happens is you start to see different opportunities. People start to turn up. And I'm going to get the getting all tongue-tied. I'm speaking so quickly. I'm excited about this subject. I'll get to that moment in a second to talk about opportunity. But visualization, do not underestimate the power of believing before you see the result. Then we get to the LIVE. The fourth letter in the word live is empower your body, mind, soul, in every way. And understand, I think Robert Kiyosaki talks about it beautifully, the 4 money quadrants in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Ask yourself, where do I best sit in the 4 quadrants? As an employee, self-employed, a business owner, and then an investor. So it doesn't matter where you sit in the quadrants. This is not a judgment on that because, different horses for different courses. Pay yourself, though, through a forced saving plan so that eventually you become an investor. The way to freedom, to financial freedom, is when your investments are paying you a dividend each week so that when you mature and you don't want to get out of bed one day and go to the job or the business, then the investments that you have created will pay you an income. And you will need to know what that amount of money is that will keep you in the lifestyle that you are used to right now. Of course, not forgetting inflation, more, taking care of your health right to the end. And so it's a good idea to be thinking about that right now. And where you get what you invest your money into is completely up to you. And this is not to give financial advice or anything of the sort. You will talk to your accountant or your financial advisor about where you are best to put your money into something that in time will pay you a dividend. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to self-empowerment is if you want to be wealthy, then you need to study wealth. Most people sit there in fear, hoping and wishing and praying that the money's going to drop on their lap. Of course, it's not going to. So you need to study wealth. Study what wealthy people do. Ask your mentor, do you have the wealth in the 7 areas of life that are most interest to you? A mentor who walks the talk. Read a book. Go to a seminar, get a DVD, start a course, invest in a course, invest in a mentor, because as I said a moment ago, you can always get more money but not more time. Don't try and work it out yourself. This is the biggest lesson I would share with you based on my own experience. It is worth every dollar to invest into the right mentor than trying to figure this out for yourself, because you will run out of freaking time. I can say that with certainty. Get the people around you that can help you. But you need to also learn to become wealthy in your mind, mentally and emotionally, spiritually and physically. If you allow some part of you to turn sloppy, then it will show up in every area of your life. You need to take care of every component, including your physical health. It will get harder and harder as you mature, okay? So I know I sound like I'm going on a rampage, but it's all coming from the heart with love. Look at all these love hearts go up. It is coming from my heart, because all I want for you is for you to live the dream lifestyle that you think about day in, day out, because you are worthy. And I have enough respect for you to give you the raw truth. And that's the thing about this podcast is I always said it's going to be raw, real and relatable, because I am never going to sit here and BS to you because I love and respect you too much. And I'm not going to set you up in a fantasy, and I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to say to you what I know the truth is based on experience, my own self-education, and being in the trenches, going through this experience, and still are. I still constantly invest into my self-education because I want my life the way I want it, not just, letting it happen to me or living by what others think I should do, and neither should you. Okay, so let's get back to this. So becoming wealthy in body, mind and spirit and physical. And here's what I will say to you. If you're sitting there feeling, I don't feel wealthy, and I want you to put, if you're watching this and you're brand new, I hope you're in my shoes here or in the shoes. I share these stories for a reason. You have a great fortune within you right now. Don't sit there and just say, well, there's no cash in my account right now, and feel down on yourself. This is not about putting yourself in the pit. This is about realizing and accepting that you have wealth within you. You are already rich and wealthy from within. You are born with gifts and talents. They're just waiting to come out of you to share with the world, through that fair exchange of value that I'm talking about. So don't sit there feeling broke and feeling sorry for yourself, anyone. You are already rich. You've just got to pan the gold, baby. Pan the gold, okay? And it can start from today. That's why I give you practical steps. So if you don't know what your gifts and talents are, ask your friends, ask your family, say, what do you believe I am? What do you perceive me being gifted in? Where am I talented? And what services could I provide to the world that you'd pay money for? Start to ask people, because, I'm one of these people that don't feel good about sometimes talking about the things that I'm good at. And I've had to work on that. I've got mentors that help me, of course. And they've got to pull it out of me. What are my gifts and talents? What can I do? What have I achieved that I could share my knowledge with other people who would pay for it? And go to, like I said, keep investing in yourself, because you are the smartest and most wisest investment you could make, and it will pay off big time. Now I'm going to get into, that's the word live. It's already covered now. The last three letters in the word now. So why do I call it live now formula? Because most people are always getting ready to live but never really living. And my philosophy in life is living in the now while you create and plan the grand adventure we call life. A lifestyle by design is not a reward at the end of all this. It's a way of life now. So if you're listening to this from the outside, and you ladies too, put yourself in the driver's seat of the vehicle now. Life is short. We're not planning for the future. We are thinking about the future, but we are living in the now. So the last three letters that I want to cover. Never quit. The letter N in the word now stands for never quit. To become wealthy in monetary terms. You've already got it in other terms, through your health and fitness, relationships, love, all that sort of stuff. But I'm talking cold, hard cash now. You've got to be committed. You can't be in a fantasy. You've got to be committed. You've got to become educated. It takes time, it takes energy, and it takes knowledge. It takes patience. It takes persistence. It takes an interest in money and a devotion to the outcome. And that's why I've done the first two podcasts that match this podcast, that breaks down the old beliefs and habits, bringing them right back to the brand new beliefs and habits that we will want to form based on having more benefits than drawbacks to changing your beliefs around money and all those things. Money will never come to you if you are frightened about it, you are repelled by it, you think it's dirty, you think it's evil, you think rich people are robbers, you think the wealthy steal from the poor, you think people with money must be bastards, or whatever your language is around that. That's not my language, that's what some people's language is. You will never ever have it. So this is why it's so important to commit that time to yourself. I would change an attitude of hopelessness to an attitude of hope and expectation. With money, you get what you expect. In life, you get what you expect. If you don't believe you're worthy, you're not expecting to make money, then that is going to be your reality. So you get what you expect. So change your attitude from feeling hopeless or, from hoping you're going to get it to an expectation, I am going to get it because I'm going to create something of value for myself and for others and take it to the marketplace. Then the next letter in the word now is O. Opportunity meets preparation. I was linking it before. I'm going to link it back now. Optimism versus pessimism. Are you optimistic around your hopes and your dreams and the things that you want to live now and you deserve? Or are you pessimistic? If you're pessimistic, you need some work, baby. You've got to become optimistic, and that comes through a change of attitude and an attitude of different knowledge and learning different things. Things will not fall into your lap until you are prepared, and that's the opportunity shows up. Because this is what the universe does for you. It shows up in the way of people, ideas. You'll be receptive and people will come into your energy field because you are optimistic, not pessimistic. Okay, it's so important, a critical component of making more money and feeling good about it. Opportunity, I always say, learn quickly. Time waits for no one. And when you are prepared, keep your eyes opened, your mind open, but more importantly, your heart and your soul. It must be open, and your heart and soul will always be open when you are living according to your own internal values, things that are meaningful for you, things that are fulfilling for you, and things that are important to you and only you. Girls and guys, if you're watching this, I always say, start where you are with what you know. Forget the past. Let it go. It's like a stinky old dead horse. It needs burying. Bury the dead horse, I say. Okay, don't worry about the past. It's gone. You can't do anything about it, but you can change your perception beginning right now. I've given you enough information, enough questions, enough resources, enough knowledge. I'm sitting here as living proof from being absolutely dead broke to living the lifestyle that I dreamt about. Many of you in my community are beginning to live the dream lifestyle that you want, and anyone can have it just by changing these perceptions in life. The last word I want to get to, the last letter, I should say, in the word now is willing. Willing to be a winner at life. I'm adding the word winner in. Not just willing to do whatever it takes, but wanting to be a winner. I mean, who the friggin' hell wants to be a loser in life? Now, a loser in life is somebody who sits in fear, pessimistic, who never gets to live their dreams. I mean, you can choose, we have free will choice, but willing to be a winner, to grow wealthy financially, emotionally, and physically. Money will never come to you unless you do something that is of value to the world. It just will not come to you, okay? And most financially broke people put too many limitations on what they are willing to do. Well, I want the money, but I'm not going to do that. I want the money, but I'm not going to read the book. I want the money, but I'm not going to invest in the mentor. I want the money, but I'm going to watch TV 5 hours a night. I want the money, but I'm not prepared to give up one of my weekends. You've got to ask yourself, is that a winner's mentality or a loser's mentality? No one in my community has that loser mentality. I know that, girls. I'm just talking, globally now. You've got to have a winning mentality to do what it takes. And yes, there is sacrifice along the way. I have sacrificed years of my time. Is it worth it? You bet. Would I do it again? You bet. Because money gives you freedom of choice. It gives you options. It does give you better health. It gives you more opportunity. You'll have more opportunity to meet people, to go places, to make a difference, charity work, changing people's lives who do not have the opportunity that we have. willing? What are you willing to sacrifice? And I don't even say it's a sacrifice. What are you willing to dump or delete in your life that is not taking you closer to your dream lifestyle that you want and deserve? Dump it. And then in time, remember, it's not about short-term gratification. It's about long-term planning and thinking so that you can have the life that you want. You can go on more holidays, you can have more travel, you can have better clothing if you want, send your children to better schools, and just live with more peace and harmony as the days roll on. And again, step number 3 now, just to wrap up this, the 3-step formula. This is the 3-step Live Now formula, the mastermind. This, over everything, I believe is the most important part. You women watching this live are already in the mastermind. You need the right community. If you're watching this from the outside in, who is your community? You can join our community. It is for ladies only. But this is the truth, and Napoleon Hill says this. You can achieve more in 1 year in the right community, in the right environment, with the right mentor, than you can achieve in a lifetime going it alone. It is true. And stick close to your mentor, stick close to the community, because this is where the real stuff happens. This is where the rubber meets the road. And because you are going to fall down many times, you're going to need help standing up, and you lean in on your mentor, lean in on the others in your community, because you are going to need that support. Making money is not always easy. It is not a freaking straight line. It is up and down, up and down, up and down. And unless you have the right community and a mentor who walks the talk, doesn't just talk about it from reading books, who lives it and breathes it, it is going to be a long, hard road. So think about that, who you need to join, what is your community, who is your community, and stick close with them. And somebody who holds you accountable is incredibly important. I know I hold my girls accountable in my community, but if you're watching this out there, who is holding you accountable? Because I can share with you from my own life experience, I've wanted to throw in the towel more times than I care to think about. You need to be held accountable because sometimes we let ourselves off, don't we, girls? It makes a really big difference. And I'm going to finish with these few words. I want you to write this in your journals, ladies, before we finish up. And if you're watching it, write this down. To have more in life, I must become more, I must serve more, and the universe will reward me endlessly. I'm going to say that one more time. To have more in life, I must become more, I must serve more, and the universe will reward me endlessly. And that wraps up today's empowering podcast, ladies. I hope, give me a sign. Did you enjoy that? A message? Did you enjoy that? What did you get out of this podcast? What did you learn about yourself? What popped for you? Your ahas. I have covered so much, and these last 3 podcasts around money have been very, very in-depth. Lots of probing questions, a lot to think about. Lots of emotions would probably be coming up for so many of you. And if this is a new podcast for you, I would love your feedback. What came up for you? Your old beliefs versus where you want to get to. How are you going to bridge the gap to go from here to here? Something has to change within here, and it begins right where you are. I've really enjoyed this, girls, today, and next week's podcast I am going to be talking about is the question that came in from Rebecca. Her name, we've put her name out there. Amanda, I want to start a new business. Where do I begin? And it is I think it's such a common question. I would call it a common question because there's so much information out there. People are confused. Where do I begin? I'm going to set the record straight of what to start with, where to go, and try and make this as straight a line as I can because, as I said, success is not a straight line, but hopefully I can make it a little bit easier for you. So I look forward to seeing you on the podcast, ladies. Thank you for joining me. I've missed you this week, and as I said, you'll be coming with me now as I travel up north on the boat up to the Great Keppel Islands. I'm going to be sharing more about what I've learnt the last week with training with DeMartini. I've now done over 350 classroom hours honing my craft to be able to serve more people at a higher level, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results that you ladies create in your own life. And I just want to say thank you for joining me today. Sending you big love, big cyber hugs and high fives to all of the posts that you're sharing. Ladies, keep the ahas coming. I know you're learning a lot. I would like someone to share today inside our community. From these last 3 podcasts, I know some of you would have got some ahas today. Let's share some of those, some distinctions that you took from today's podcast. I think that might be a really good way. Instead of just what's in the program, what's in the lessons, let's do a few distinctions of what you are learning from the podcast, because it's uplifting for those who cannot make it to the live podcast. So give me a thumbs up or a love heart if someone's willing to do that. Write just 2 or 3 things that you picked up, because it makes a difference not only to you, because this is how you're going to learn it faster and own the traits of the greats, like that one, own the traits of the greats, but also uplift another person's day who may not be feeling as uplifted as you. All right, beautiful ladies, that's over and out for me. I look forward to seeing you on my rampage in the next couple of days on the boat heading up to the Great Keppel Islands. And I think we're heading to Tangalooma Resort first thing in the morning. So I'm going to do a little video and show you some of the beauty on the way up, heading north on the boat. We're going to go to Pancake Creek, Platypus Bay, and some of the beautiful places, and see some dolphins and many whales, I hope. Mwah. I love you very, very much, and I believe in you and your dreams. Okay, so as you would agree, we have covered so much today, and this wraps up today's podcast that empowers you to overcome your feelings of self-pity and worry around money, and get out there and make it by feeling good, not evil. And until next week, I really appreciate you tuning into the Gday Gorgeous podcast that does help you go from feeling frustrated to getting the life that you truly want and deserve in wealth, health, and love. And please, if you like this episode, and I have no doubt that you got massive value and some very practical steps today, I would be super grateful if you just take 30 seconds to leave me a review and pay it forward by sharing this podcast with your friends and your family and others that you know would greatly benefit. Be that butterfly effect and share this message. And until next week, I cannot wait to see you, because we've got a really hot question from one of our ladies inside Select, Rebecca. And her question is, Amanda, I want to start a new business, but where do I start? That is going to be a good one, because I have started 14 different businesses. Remember to find out more about how I can help you achieve and actually live your life right now, your dream life, more about our journals, our books, and stories from the women I mentor, please head over to my website, gdaygorgeous.com. And until next week, be bold, be courageous, and be even more fabulous. Bye for now.